No traffic. One truck. Here comes the truck. Whew. Man, I walk too much. So this is the first fish. Blah, 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 blah. This is the Roby Courthouse. The original courthouse was built in 1885. Beautiful structure with a dome roof and a clock tower a lot of people talk about. What do you remember about Roby when you were there?
Coming into Roby, Texas and seeing that clock that was on top of the water tower, on top of the courthouse. We used to have a great big clock. You could see it from all four sides. And you could see that for miles when you came in from east of Roby.
What's your earliest memory of Roby as a kid in Roby?
Well, I remember the old courthouse we used to have here.
Do you remember the old courthouses?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, dome and everything. We would go up and Bill Ashley was a deputy at that time, and he and a couple other friends, Marlon Field or Don Elam, or some would talk him into taking us down into the jail and showing us all the guns they had collected and all of the bootleg liquor that had been collected, and we talked him into taking us up to the highest point you could go in the dome, where you could go up where they worked on the clock. And I do remember that. And everybody got mad at when they tore it down, but I think it got to the point, it was my understanding, and there are other people that probably know more than I do, that it was mixed with the sands of the Cottonwood Creek, or some sand down southeast part of town in that area, and that it was literally crumbling.
According to the book, History of Fisher County, Texas, the Tom Law family came to Roby in 1876, lived in a dugout by a creek, and hauled buffalo bones to Sweetwater for a living. I'm not even sure what that means. Two small towns sprung up early. After a heated debate of who should be the county seat, Roby won the election. Some claim there was skullduggery when Roby won by a close margin. Later it was determined that one of the voters was Bill Perp, a dog, and a few names from the cemetery. The house I grew up in was actually built out of the parts from the torn down courthouse. I took my driver's license test in that parking lot, and I voted in my first presidential campaign in 1988 in this building, Dukakis Bush. I won't tell you who I voted for. We're going to get down to this controversy of why the courthouse is in Roby and not in Rotan. It's kind of funny.
Although it's only 10 miles apart, it was like separate countries back then. So if you lived in Rotan, you stayed in Rotan. If you lived in Roby, you stayed in Roby.
Sure. So. In the terminal advance, right there, that particular copy, it talks about the county seat, which honestly, I think that's really where it stems from. All is the county seat. Rotan was at the end of the railroad stop. The train backed up here, did its thing, and then left. I mean, this was where the train stopped, was in Rotan, and this is where a lot of the commerce ended up being. When it came time to decide on a county seat, somehow, despite the fact that Rotan was a much larger populace, Roby got voted the county seat.
I'll tell you what I've heard. I can't prove it one way or the other. And your dad and I were talking about it earlier, and I think this is the reason the new courthouse is here. Rumor was they wanted to move the courthouse or the county seat to Rotan because it's a bigger, which is a lot of towns are that way. The forefathers at the time decided that wasn't, they wanted it in Roby, and I understand that. So they passed some bond money without going to the public to tear down the old one and build a new one before it could come to a vote and argument. That's the way I hear it. I can't prove one way or the other.
There was a lot of rivalry that sparked out of that. There was a lot of controversy. Apparently people in the cemetery, other people's pets, everybody it seems that's ever lived in Roby voted in this election. So they were able to steal the county seat, I guess, away from Rotan. That's the way the Rotan people think about it, and they still do. And they're, separated by 9 miles and 100 years,
So this is Rotan. I love that. 10 miles apart in 100 years. I always knew there was a rivalry. I didn't know where it came from. I just knew that he didn't want to be caught at night in Rotan. As a little kid, we came over here and we might buy a pair of pants or a box of shotgun shells, and now it seems like Rotan's not faring much better than Roby. It's interesting to find out all the controversy was because of a courthouse and a potentially rigged vote. I don't know. I'm learning things I never knew before. I'm pretty sure I want to get out of here now though, because I think that guy in that truck back there is eyeballing me. Probably thinks I'm from Roby.